College basketball is roughly at the halfway point in their season, so it's time for report cards. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving these report cards and grading the freshman class in college. What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. Just wanted to drop by and say we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers, so if you're new to this channel and love basketball content, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And without further ado, let's dive into this video. There's not too much explaining I gotta do. We're giving out grades / report cards to the players, so let's get into it. Oh yeah, real quick, before we get into it, let me know in the comment section, please let me know if you want to see a part 2 to this, because obviously I can't cover every single player in this video. I'm going to try to do roughly 15. First things first, we're starting with the number 1 player, Cade Cunningham. Or technically Jalen Green was number 1, but he didn't go to college, so Cade's the number 1 for college. As to nobody's surprise at all, Cade has lived up to the hype and even some more than that. For the season so far, he's averaging almost 18 points per game, 6 rebounds, and right at 4 assists. Those are great stats for anyone, but keep in mind he's just a freshman. But what is most impressive is this right here. He's putting up these numbers at an efficient rate. He's shooting above 37% behind the arc and right at 50% from the field. Technically not 50%, 45%, but I just rounded it up. Even though those numbers do look good, he is having a slight turnover problem because he is averaging 3.5 a game, so his assists kind of offset. All in all though, I'm very impressed with how he's been playing. I'm going to give him an A. Next up, we got Evan Mobley, and he was the number 1 center in the country last year for high school, and no one's really talking about him in college, and the reason for that is because he's very quiet and he's just putting up solid stats. For USC so far, he's averaging right at 15.8 points per game, 8.8 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. This is a 7-foot center, guys, and he's shooting 36% behind the 3-point line. That's crazy. Also too, he's shooting above 58% from the field in general, and there's not enough good things you can say about him. When it's all said and done, he's going to be a one and done and a lottery pick more than likely. Not only are his stats really good, but he's been a dominant force in the games and he makes an immediate impact. I'm not going to give him an A+ because I do think he could be doing a little more, and an A+ is a good grade. I'm going to give him the same as Cunningham and an A. I think an A suits him best. Now let's get on to the next one. We got the 6'9", 225-pound guard known as Scottie Barnes. Scottie had a lot of hype in high school. People was comparing him and Cade Cunningham together, but in college, their stats are not comparable at all. Well, maybe the rebounds and assists, but the points per game aren't. So far, he's had a good year for Florida State, but nothing crazy. Averaging only 11 points per game, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds, and shooting 47% from the field. His 3-point percentage isn't too hot. He's only shooting 27% on that, and his turnovers are at 2 per game. Barnes is a straight up mismatch. He's a 6'9" guard, so you would think he would dominate a little more at the college level at least, but that hasn't been the case so far. I gotta be honest, I'm not too impressed with his play so far. Is it good? Yes, it's good, but he was the number 5 player in the country last year, and I expect more out of you if you're that high. I'm going to give Scottie Barnes a B- so far for his season. Next up on our list, we got a guy who could have been a football star, but he decided to take the basketball route. We got Jalen Suggs. This 6'4", 205-pound freshman guard has been nothing short of great. He's playing for the number 1 team on the country, and he's putting on a show every single night. Jalen is a guy that I would define as a stat stuffer. He's averaging 14 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, and shooting above 50% from the field. To make things even better, he's shooting 41% behind the arc. That's crazy. If he keeps this up, he for sure is going to be a one and done and maybe even a top 5 pick. I really don't like to throw these out there often because it's rare and it means you're having a perfect season so far, but I'm giving Jalen an A+. He's a great player on a great team and he's performing and living up to the hype. Next up, we got the most controversial one, and I think we can all agree on this. We got BJ Boston. I'm going to read his stats off first and then I'll explain why I'm giving him the grade I'm going to give him. For the season, when you see the stats, it looks okay. He's averaging 13 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. But you can't just stop there. You gotta really dive into the numbers and watch his play. Yes, this number I'm about to read you is correct. He is shooting 17% behind the 3-point line. 17%. I know you're sitting there thinking, well, that's his threes. What about his field goal percentage? it's not any better. He's only shooting 36% from the field in general. Every time I talk about him, I do get sort of heated because you guys in the comments say, Matt, he's a freshman, you gotta give him time, but I do not believe in that. Look at Sharife Cooper. He didn't play for almost a year, comes out in his first game and drops 30 points. And look at every other freshman that's gonna be in this video. Most of them are balling out. I'm tired of the freshman excuse. BJ Boston, he's a great kid, but his play so far in the season has been absolutely trash. He's shown signs of greatness, don't get me wrong, but it's been small signs. His other play has been terrible most of the time. It hasn't been all bad, so I'm not going to give him an F. I'm going to give him a D-. I think that's 100% fair. He's been playing like horse crap, so let's get into the next one. We got Ziaire Williams. He's a 6'8", 185-pound freshman and playing for Stanford. Ziaire had a lot of hype in high school, and it's pretty much continued over to college, but he hasn't been that great so far. Averaging 11.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, but he's shooting a terrible, like BJ Boston, 36% from the field. What hurts his overall field goal percentage is his 3-point percentage. He's only shooting 28%. 28 is much better than 17, but it's still not good. Ziaire hasn't been playing bad, but he hasn't been playing good by any means. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I'm giving Ziaire Williams a C. Next up, we got a power forward that's playing for a super good Texas team. He comes in at 6'9", 205 pounds. We got Greg Brown. Brown is an interesting recruit because he was getting some hype last year in high school, but on the other hand, some people didn't believe in the hype. Regardless of that, whether you believe in the hype or not last year, he's been okay so far. He's averaging 12 points and 8 rebounds for Texas. For a big man, his field goal percentage is kind of low at only 42%, but you'll take that. His 3-point percentage, and he's not a 3-point sniper, it's only 28.6%, but he's not known for that. I've been watching some of their games, and the good thing about Greg is that he knows his role on the team and he doesn't try to do too much. That's a main reason as to why Texas is 10-1 also. I really like this kid, I really do, but he hasn't been playing that great, and he's just been playing solid. Greg Brown, you're getting a B-, and you can definitely improve that, so keep working. Next up, we got a teammate of BJ Boston's, and he's been playing way better than him. We got Terrence Clarke. As of right now, when I'm making this video, he is battling a slight injury, so that is holding him back, but in the games he has played so far, he's looked okay. In 7 games this year, he's averaging right at 10.7 points per game, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. I don't know if it's a Kentucky thing, but his 3-point percentage, like BJ Boston's, is absolutely trash. He's shooting 22.7% behind the arc, but his field goal percentage is much better, sitting at 43%. I already know people are going to be saying, how can you give Terrence Clarke a better grade than BJ Boston when his stats aren't as good? But you have to watch the games to understand what I'm about to say. Terrence has just straight up played good for Kentucky. He hasn't been great, don't get me wrong, but he's been good. When this team was in that 6-game losing streak and really playing terrible, he was the only real bright side of the team. At least in my opinion. But y'all probably think I'm about to give him a B or something. I'm not. His play hasn't been that great. I'm going to give him a C. Next up, we got a fan favorite. His nickname is Jacob. He had a ton of clout in high school. We got Josh Christopher. Can't say enough good things about him. He's averaging 17 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. His overall field goal percentage is 45%, but his 3-point percentage, not too good. It's only 22. But he wasn't really known as being a lockdown or knockdown 3-point shooter. At Arizona State, he's been putting on a show, and he's had some explosive games where he looks like the best player on the court. Every time he goes out there and plays, he gets more comfortable, and I feel like he's improving his draft stock as we speak. I'm going to give Jacob an A-, and here's why. He's been really good out there. Not great, but really good, and I like everything I see, but he's not a crazy good shooter just yet, and he's only good when he's attacking the basket. Hopefully he improves that throughout the season, and he can get that A+. Next up, we got a 6'11" forward. He plays for North Carolina, and this is our first North Carolina player we're going to talk about. We got Day'Ron Sharpe. Sharpe is like your old school players. He's not known for his 3-point shooting, and he's just going to do all the dirty work. For his season so far, he's averaging 10 points per game, 8 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and he's shooting 50% from the field. Not too bad. Keep in mind though, every player we're talking about in today's video was a top 20 player in high school. So therefore, if you're not putting up 5-star numbers, that's why these players aren't getting good grades. Just like some of the other players, Sharpe has shown some signs of greatness, but besides that, he's been mediocre at best. He's just a very solid role player for now. Maybe he gets better throughout the season, but as for now, I'm going to give him a C. Let me change that. I'm going to give him a C+, because I do like this kid. He hustles, does the dirty work, and a lot of these other players don't do that. So C+ for Day'Ron Sharpe. Next up, we got our first Duke player. We got a 6'9", 220-pound forward known as Jalen Johnson. Duke in general has had a slow start to their season. They had a span where they didn't play basketball for 3 or 4 weeks. When they are playing though, Jalen has been a bright side for this team. He's averaging 11.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. Unlike most of our other players in this video, he's been very efficient from the field, shooting 55%, and behind the arc he's shooting 33.3%, which is right at average. I'm giving Jalen Johnson a B+, and here's why. I really think this guy's just a straight up baller, and he's going to get to the NBA, maybe not this year, but for sure next year. He's just smooth out there on the court. I don't like Duke as much as the next person, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. Next up, we gotta swing it back to North Carolina. We got a 7'1" forward known as Walker Kessler. I said Kessler, it's Kessler. My fault. Anyways, continuing on, Mr. Kessler himself has been a certified bench rider this entire season. He's playing under 7 minutes per game, only averaging 2.9 points per game and 2.5 rebounds. There's not too much to say about him. He's been a bench rider, so I don't know if he's not performing in practice or what's going on, but he's getting a D+. Some of you may say that's harsh, but keep in mind, this was the number 14th overall best player in the country last year in high school. You're not playing, so C's average, and when he is playing, he ain't doing that much. So D+ fits him pretty well. Next up, we got a person who went to a very small college. He's 6'11", 235 pounds. We got Makur Maker. He has not played many games at all so far, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists, and shooting 50% from the field. Like I said, he's only played in a couple of games so far, and when he's playing, it's not that bad, and you could even say it's above average. I'm going to give him a B-. I think that suits him well. Let's get into the next one. Next up, we got a 6'4", 200-pound point guard. He's playing for Tennessee. Tennessee's a very good team. They're 9-1. We got Jaden Springer. Jaden is a very solid player. He doesn't get a lot of hype and attention, and I can almost guarantee you that 75% of the people watching this have never even heard of him. For Tennessee, he's not a star player, but he's a very good role player. In 10 games so far, he's averaging 10 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, and 2 assists, but he's shooting 55% from the field, and for a guard, that's really good. But hold on, finally! We got an efficient and high 3-ball shooter. He's shooting 61.5% behind the arc. That's unreal. He's straight up balling. He's not the first, second, or maybe 3rd/4th option on this team, but when he shoots and, does his thing, he's doing okay. I would like to see him take over some more and build that confidence. Since he's not taking over, I can't give him an A. I think a B, right at a B, suits him best. We've made it to the final and last player on our list. Please let me know in the comment section if y'all want to see a part 2, because I think this is a cool video series I'm doing. But let's get into our last and final one. We got to swing it back to North Carolina. I think you all know who we're about to talk about. I saved it for last because it is controversial. He's 6'4", and his name is Caleb Love. I said he's name like with a H-E-E-S. Anyways, continuing on. Caleb Love has been disappointing so far. In 11 games played for North Carolina, he's averaging under 10 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. But what I'm about to tell you, these numbers are real, and you cannot make these up, and there's no excuse. Same thing for BJ Boston. As much as I'm going to hate on BJ Boston, I'm just giving it where it's due. Caleb Love, you about to get some hate too, and it's not even hate, it's the truth, and I'm critiquing your game. He is shooting an atrocious 27% from the field. His 3-point percentage, you know it's going to be worse, is only 17.8. But from the field, he's only 27%. That's terrible. I could shoot it with my feet better than that. There's no sugarcoating this with BJ Boston. Yes, he's shown some signs of greatness, but overall, and for the main part, he's been flat out terrible. And this guy was getting a ton of hype in high school. He was supposed to be a one and done, but if he keeps this up, that's not going to happen. And I don't even know if he can fix it from here on out. I understand stats aren't everything. I've been watching these players play, but it gives you guys a perspective. He's been mediocre at best, and for the most part, when he shoots, it just doesn't go in. A wise person once told me the name of the game is to get buckets, and Caleb Love is not getting buckets. This may be harsh, but I'm giving Caleb Love an F. He shot terrible, hasn't played great, and it's kind of ironic because North Carolina hasn't been that bad, so it doesn't make any sense. Let me know what you think about my list down below. What would you change? What wouldn't you change? But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down below. With all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Road to 100K. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.